Hi students, as a part of class 10th, I am going to explain a chapter called our environment. So, generally we are using the term environment. So, what is general meaning of environment? So, environment is nothing but our surroundings. That means the place or the area where we live. The place or the area where we live is generally called as environment. But biologically, the meaning is different. What is the meaning of environment in a biological term is nothing but the total external conditions and influences. What is that? The external conditions and influences on life. That means how the external conditions affects the living organisms is nothing but environment. The study of external conditions and influences which affects the living organisms is nothing but environment. As you know that among all the planets, Earth is the only planet which supports the life. But this Earth divided into four spheres. Generally, we know that all the terminology. The first one is lithosphere. Lithosphere is a part of the earth, especially the land area. And the second is nothing but hydrosphere, nothing but water bodies present in the earth. And the third category is nothing but what? Atmosphere. So is nothing but air blanket over the earth surface. So generally you know these three terminology: lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere. In addition to that, there is one more sphere which supports the life is nothing but biosphere. So biosphere is the zone or the area where life is supported. So this biosphere is further divided into ecosystem. Ecosystem is nothing but the structural and functional unit of biosphere. So before going to explain ecosystem, we need to study about what is ecology. So ecology is a branch of biology which deals with the study of house. Nothing but ecos means house, ology means study. Study of our surroundings. Our surroundings and their influences on us. How we are interacting between organism as well as between organism and the surroundings. So before going to the explain ecosystem, so we are going talk about the two main components present in the environment. What are that? One is biotic components, nothing but living organisms, and the second one is abiotic components, nothing but physical conditions. So now come to the biotic components is nothing but what? Living organisms. So the living organisms are nothing but plants, animals, microbes or human beings. These are all living organisms which are interacting among themselves. Not only they are interacting among themselves, they are also influenced by their life, their growth, their development, reproduction, all are influenced by what? The physical conditions like light, temperature, soil, water, rainfall and wind. These are all called as abiotic components or non-living components. So come to the definition of ecosystem. Ecosystem is defined as all interacting living organisms and the physical components which are interacting together. All living organisms are interacting together and the abiotic components are interacting with the biotic components. Generally, simple definition. So, the interaction between biotic and abiotic components forms an ecosystem. Come to the ecosystem, there are two types of ecosystems: natural ecosystem and man-made ecosystem. The man-made ecosystem is nothing but artificial ecosystem. The natural ecosystem means the ecosystem or the place which is existed by the nature itself is nothing but natural ecosystem. These are all the examples of natural ecosystems. Generally, the forest, rivers, lakes, oceans, seas and mountains comes under natural ecosystem. There is no intervention of human beings. There is no influence on these ecosystem by the man. But come to the second category is nothing but the artificial ecosystem where artificial ecosystem means what? Man-made ecosystem means completely human involvement is there, where these are all examples comes under artificial ecosystem. The aquarium, agricultural lands or agricultural fields, zoo, park and even gardens comes under artificial ecosystem. So the main part of the environment is nothing but ecosystem, which is considered as a structural and functional unit of biosphere, where the components of ecosystem, biotic components and abiotic components are interacting with each other always. By that they maintain balance in the nature. The main important point of ecosystem is to what? Maintain balance in the nature by both biotic components and abiotic components. That means living and non-living components. Come to the biotic components. So they are all generally we discussed plants, animals, microbes and human beings. They are always interacting with each other. Plants depend upon animals. Animals always depend upon plants. So in vice versa, they are all interacting each other. But these biotic community or living organisms are generally categorized into three groups. The first group is producers, the second one is decomposers, and third one is consumers. Come to the producers. So producers are nothing but organisms, especially they are autotrophic organisms. Autotrophic means they can prepare their own food. So come to the producers category, the plants, almost all plants and green algae comes under producers, and these producers prepare food by photosynthesis. You know the photosynthesis is nothing but conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and by using the chemical energy plants and algae prepare their own food such as carbohydrates. These carbohydrates are taken by other organisms as a food. And come to the second category, consumers. Consumers are nothing but animals which depend upon plants directly or indirectly for food. Some are directly depend upon food and some are not. Some are indirectly depend upon plants, even they are not eating plants, but they get the nutrients from the plants only. How? This is, see, consumers category divided into three areas. Nothing but first one is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. So these three are comes under consumers only, but the type of food they eat is different. Come to the herbivores, they are directly feed on plant food. Whereas carnivores, you know that they are flesh eaters, they eat flesh of other animals. And whereas omnivores, they can eat both plant as well as animal food. So these herbivores, carnivores and omnivores can be categorized as primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. What are that? Herbivores are called primary consumers, carnivores are called secondary consumers, omnivores are called tertiary consumers. The next category we left is decomposers. Decomposers means the organisms which decompose dead remains of plants and animals. After death of plants and animals, the dead bodies are remains on the earth surface. These decomposers will decompose the dead and decaying organic matter into simplest form and they return to the soil. So the best examples of decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Bacteria and fungi comes under decomposers category because they clean the environment. That's why these decomposers are called as scavengers of the earth. If these scavengers are not there, the entire earth surface is filled with what? Dead bodies of plants as well as animals. So this is the organisms category into producers, decomposers and consumers. Thank you.